Hi, everyone. This is Marilyn Bradford, and I would like to welcome you to my Left Turn podcast. What is your left turn? Writing a blog, parenting in a different way, letting go of the old because you are aware of something greater. Left turns are choices we can all make. It's about a willingness to step into the unknown in any area of your life, to trust yourself, to risk creating or trying something new. It's about letting your true uniqueness shine. The greatest people who have lived, artists, statesmen, writers, explorers, musicians, have all been people willing to turn left. What capacities do you have that you have not acknowledged? What would your life and the world be like if you were willing to turn left? Well, welcome everyone to this edition of the Left Turn podcast. I have an amazing man with me today, Marco Tessiore. He's an international coach. He's a photographer. I have this biography right here. I might have to put on my glasses, but I think you'll all be amazed. He's an international coach dedicated to empowering individuals to discover their talents, abilities, and to help them create the lives they desire. With a background in humanistic education and a passion for cinema and visual storytelling, Marco spent 13 years living in Seoul, South Korea. During this time in the vibrant capital, he worked as a university professor, I love that, actor, director of commercials and documentaries. He also co-founded and served as the producer and creative director of the country's first production company, Neo Seoul. In 2020, following a year of dynamic collaboration with Access Consciousness, Marco returned to Italy with a 6-month plan of projects and partnerships. However, with the onset of COVID-19, it became evident that he could not return to the life he had in Asia. Marco embraced Access Consciousness and in 1 year became a certified facilitator. He's also an X-Man facilitator, photographer of magnitude. He just got invited to the castle to photograph all kinds of things. Anyways, beginning a new career. Well, I think you're continuing with your career and creating a new life. So great welcome, Marco.
Thank you so much, Marilyn.
So of course, this is Left Turn podcast. So I'm going to begin by asking you about some of the left turns that you've had in your life and which of them created the most for you and how you choose left turns. And I think some of that got answered in your bio, but I'd love to hear your other tales and awarenesses and whatever you'd like to talk about with left turns.
Well, thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here. I love the perspective of left turns, since a lot of time we are conditioned about what we decide the fail is.
Yes.
So we have a plan. Like, for example, like for me, creating an international production company in a place like Seoul was a great plan, was something that I should have done, I should do. And I did, by the way.
Yes, you did.
But then it didn't mean actually that there was definitely a starting point. What I really got was it created a lot of awareness about also what was possible at the time, what was not yet possible, and the left turn for me has been a lot of time like getting at the point and find out that there is a totally different scenario, there is a totally different awareness that open up.
Yes.
So I would never imagine that I would teach to a university in a university.
I can just see, I bet everybody was just falling in love with you all over the place. That's a weird thing to say, but
no, was funny because like first of all there was like a big language barrier. Like
yes.
I wouldn't speak Korean by then, and the student had a very kind of like basic English. The point for me was like I didn't really enjoy school and education.
Yes.
And then after that, finding out to be an X-Men 40s related to have like neurodivergency. And so a lot
Yes.
of was like, oh, okay, that's why. But then I noticed that like university teacher was a possibility that would allow me to go to that country that I dream of and establish there and start to create things.
How did
So
you ever get to South Korea?
that's a very interesting question. I developed a love for Asian cinema, especially
Uh-huh.
Hong Kong one. Um, I was in Spain. I draft a story talking, and in my story there were like Asian characters. Since Asian films, South Korean and Hong Kongese films are those that I watch the most. And so I went in the journey of like Barcelona, Spain, looking for Asian characters for my short film, which is crazy itself, but not enough. So I entered in contact with some people, and there was a Korean community that introduced me to this guy that was like, "Hey, we're looking for like an adaptation of a story among Europe and Korea. Would you be interested in exploring that project?" I, w-
Interesting.
I was very young, and I was like, "For sure, yeah, of course. What should I do?" And this guy is like, "Well, you should go to Korea first and check." I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And was very not different than what I'm talking about. Like they have no plan, they have no basis. Um, Although I was willing and just like ready to launch
Yes.
myself. Um, my English was not as stable as now. I ever been there before. Although there was something about, sure, let's go. And there was actually a big left turn because I had no idea where to go at the time.
Yes, that's a big left turn. That really is. And what I so appreciate about you is your willingness to, oh yeah, that sounds good. I'll do it.
That's actually me.
Yes, I can see that.
To me, personally, the left turn is this willingness to have adventure
Yes,
rather than a very stable and defined life,
yes.
which is I notice also like in Korea, we're talking about a time where Gangnam Style was not there. A lot of the films and music that there is in the moment that was not there. So there was this kind of a mysterious country. And
Uh-huh.
because exactly was not on the map, for me was actually the fascination of like, wow, I can go there and explore.
Wow. Yes, absolutely. A real adventure, like a complete unknown.
And the adventure continue because also that country by the time had a very different perception of like foreigner. It was very little international.
Mhm.
And so there was not a big European community. So people were asking me if I was American or Russian because European was not an option yet.
Oh, interesting.
And that
Wow.
is one of the very kind of like interesting memory I had was I used to go running with a colleague of mine at the university in these fields where there were like these group of kids, you know,
Mhm.
from the farmers there, and they look at us as the train passing by, because for them was a show, and there was this kind of shy hello,
You were a
watching
real
something that was
stranger for
something
them.
different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
And
looked
so
different.
yeah, totally. And
Totally.
also we were not in the picture because like Korea's been a big has a big story with like the American army, so the army base and all that, Korean War and all that
Right.
happened after that. So it was very interesting to be a disruptor
Mhm.
of the narrative.
I love it.
And that's a big left turn as well. And to me,
Yes.
that left turn is actually allowing us to expose ourselves to different experiences.
And to expose other people in a
Exactly.
positive way to different experiences.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Which is that sometimes is what we are not considering.
right.
The inclusion of other people in our left turn and
Yeah.
how there can be a contribution in a very different way. Um,
I think it's
I
a huge contribution. You're showing people different possibilities.
It is. And actually, that has been a way to reset and refresh a lot of my definition, a lot of my ideas, a lot of point of view I had,
Mm-hmm.
because I start to notice how dedicated they were in my own culture, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in reaction, it was not just aligned with anything. But then being in the country with the culture is something totally different, and being challenging sometimes what is
Yeah.
there that speed up and create totally different movement and a totally different energy. And I'm very grateful still of everything I experienced there. And also I could see that my way to be challenging and my way to be difficult for them, or like, asking questions that nobody asks there,
Mm.
speaking a language that not everybody speaks there, trying to adjust and try to arrange and not diminish myself was
Yes,
actually a contribution. And I noticed that later on, not like at the beginning.
right. But it takes a lot of courage and perseverance to do that. Um,
Well, to me, that's the funny part. I don't really see that.
So you would say, well, anybody could do that. That's a total humanoid thing. Yeah,
I will be one of those.
you would
Exactly.
be one of those. And my sense is very few people would do something like that.
Okay, but you know why I think it's so interesting? Because
What?
a lot of time we go in for a travel, we go in for a journey. We have to travel to experience something different. Okay.
Yes, yes,
While when you choose something so different and to live into something so different,
yes,
you are the trouble every day.
yes.
You're
That's a
still traveling.
very great awareness. Thank you. Yeah,
Everything is different and you don't have reference point anymore. So
right.
you are your own compass. You became your navigator. And interestingly, Korea is the place where I encounter access consciousness.
Who was that? I used to know people who were in Korea. Who was that?
Christopher Hughes was there.
Oh, Christopher Hughes was there, and Ned or somebody like that.
Yeah, Nathan was there.
Nathan, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Nate,
and I
yeah.
think he's still there. So to me, it's interesting because like every time we actually choose a left turn,
Mhm.
that's an invitation to awareness to a totally different level.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. You have to have your barriers down. You just have to be present and go, now what?
So you can imagine that like choosing the type of living and the type of
Yes.
like daily adventure, when then I got back to Europe, to Italy, and border closed, and I had to stay there for a while.
Mhm.
Initially, for me, it was this kind of like failure of like, oh my God, what I've done.
What was the fail? What did you, I didn't really hear what you said.
Well,
What
what
was
I'm
the
saying
fail?
is like, whenever, like after 13 years, I choose to stay for a time in Italy and in Europe.
Yes,
But then
yes,
COVID arrived
COVID.
and there was no chance to move so easily.
Yeah.
For me, there was a moment where I look at and being like, okay, what have I chose? What have I done?
Hmm.
Because there was a linearity in my life that I was like, oh no, I'm not true. I'm not really having fun with this. And that's where I cut myself like judging what I had as something I knew already.
Mhm.
So
And,
Italy became a foreigner country.
oh, interesting. Can you say more about that?
Well, after 13 years living in a totally different place, I was finally in the position, in the place to see Italy as with the eyes of a foreigner person.
That makes sense. Yes.
And I was stunned by that. It was incredible. It was the first time I could actually see things in a totally different perspective.
Uh-huh.
And so I became grateful for the left turn.
Yes. It always broadens our perspective. Always.
So, as Italian, you grow up and there is beauty everywhere, but you
Yes.
discount it because there's no McDonald's, for example. When I was a
Aren't you
kid,
lucky?
when I was a kid, I was like, what the hell? What is McDonald's? Why we don't have McDonald's around here? Seriously, like I used to watch Simpson, a lot of American films, and so I was like, "Hey, can I have a burger?" And it's so funny, but it's just like when you grow up, like designing something, that sometimes it's the way you discount what you have.
Yes, yes. I grew up without any fast food or anything like that also, so it was,
Although the left turn, that's when it bring you in a place that oftentimes seems to be uncomfortable.
mhm.
And to me, recently, I'm just looking at as well, this is an intensity of receiving that is going to create a totally different track. It's a very, it's a real change of the narrative.
Oh, tell me more, please. That's so interesting.
So in South Korea, I used to hang around like a group of very cool people as a scriptwriter, designer, cinematographer, actors, and creative people. Because it's creative people in your life. It's so cool because they having them, it's always having something new. Like someone has a project, someone has an idea, someone has something interesting in their life going on. So it's really an aspect of like creativity and working in a cool environment. And there was this joke that say, well, if something doesn't go by plan,
Mhm.
we could just actually like stand up and scream, script twist, or like story twist, and just have a drink.
I like it. Script twist.
Yeah,
That's great.
because we all look at the things with the perspective of the narrative.
Yes,
And oftentimes we think we don't control the narrative when it doesn't go as we want, left turn.
left turn. Right.
Although the script twist invite you and allow you to really create a different narrative.
Yes. Its consciousness is like, how about this?
Yeah.
You know? And what about this?
So I actually recognize that Korea was incredible. Like a lot of things I've done and the experience I had absolutely were like part of who I am now. And still, I didn't have myself as much as I desire to have.
Mm.
Being in Europe, having a community of people and a group of people, a family of people that do access consciousness, and having the possibility to go into classes, collaborating, like doing photographs, like creating contents, videos, and so with access, choosing classes, choosing to hold a license as certified facilitator, which actually for me is really participating to the movement of consciousness in the world.
Yes.
Well, that's a lot more of me than I used to have back then.
Well, we didn't have the tools, and the information we were given was not accurate. At least that was my
Absolutely.
experience. Yeah.
So left turn personally is actually where your personal ambition brings you.
Yes. And your own awareness of what's true for me. That's how I see all of it.
Totally. And for me, the part of also ambition is really connected with what's true for me. When we are allowing ourselves to have ambitions, it's
Mhm.
actually when we are looking at what's true for us. And sometimes it's very uncomfortable since we're the only
Yes.
one in the room that's true for us.
Yes.
We are the only one in the room or like in the world on the planet that we have
Yes.
that desire and that we have that ambition.
Yes. It's that willingness to be different that some people find so uncomfortable they back away from it.
Which to me has been the invitation also to become an X-Men facilitator.
Oh, say more about that, please.
Well, I had no the information about X-Men. I didn't have the information about neurodivergency. So
Right.
there were like areas in my life where I just thought I was stupid. I was like, there are places I don't reach. I am not functioning well. So there was
Uh-huh.
a judgment about myself. With those information, I remember there was a specific intro call that Dane did in Mexico Mexico City back then. And this intro call was like even with some big classes, like as a prereq. And I obviously didn't listen it at the beginning, But then one time I was like jogging, I listened to my phone, I was, oh, let's look at that. And
Yeah.
I remember we're like was talking about like ADHD and autism, and I stopped myself laughing and crying at the same time
Wow.
because like the space that opened up as an information was like, okay, that's it.
It's
That's me.
such a relief. It's such a, like the clouds parted or something.
That's the twist about, that's a left turn about what we identify as our difficulties, which is actually the twist of our difference.
Yes.
Wherever we have a difficulties, oftentimes it's an ability that has been twisted as a disadvantage.
Absolutely. And made wrong.
Yeah.
Totally made wrong.
So that to me has been a open space of exploration of like, okay, being willing to actually look at how different you are
Yes.
is being also willing to look at what is your abilities, what are your powers, what are your capabilities.
Yes.
And it can be uncomfortable. It can be quite a journey into the introspection,
Yeah.
a deep dive, and the beauty of it with the tools of access consciousness is you never get to a definition.
No. In fact, you get more undefined.
That has been such of a freedom, and then has been such of a empowerment where
Yes.
I be like, okay, I see everywhere in the world people struggling with their differences. This is a different take. This is a different possibility. This is something I can really bring, especially because looking at myself, you will never maybe imagine like I have neurodivergency or like I have extremely difficulties areas where are simple for everyone else. But then
And the
for me
opposite.
is an
Yeah.
invitation.
Yeah. And you have areas that are difficult for everybody else that you're supremely brilliant with.
Yeah, but don't talk. Let's not talk about that because that's too easy. And how many times we've been in that circumstances of like discounting ourselves because things are easy,
Yeah.
normal, and that's our brilliance right there. So to me, that has been a big invitation and a big exploration of like what's exactly possible with our difference.
Yes.
That's to me is the big call. Like I've been in Asia for so long because it's different in all the possible ways. There was nothing like me there. There was nothing like the life I have. There was nothing that what I knew there.
Right.
But that diversity was highly fascinating. Does it mean that I have to align with it? No. Does it
No.
mean that I have to do what they do? No. Would be always my way to live, to experience. So, but then
Yes.
it's a lot. It's an abundance of new things. It's an abundance of difference. It's an abundance of richness.
Yes. And no automatic pilot. You have to be
No,
present. 10-second increments.
which I think is another factor that, well, is another aspect that the left turn brings in the conversation.
Yes. And
Especially because like a lot of left turn are identified as like failure, losing something, problems, or something you avoid to be. But then if you're present, something else can switch.
absolutely. And if you're willing to be with the possibilities, things you've never even imagined show up. That's like, wow, okay. That's very cool.
I I've been working with a big photographer back then. I've been asked to run a documentary about one of the masterpiece project he was working on while I was there. And interestingly, I only for those 4 years, 5 years, whatever, we've been traveling, we've been there, we've been in so many different situations. And I always like to photograph with my phone because my hands were busy with the camera for shooting or phone or just like bringing bags and something else. And so I have it is. And only during COVID, rewatching this, all these photographs, I noticed that I have an archive of photographs that I never considered because we're
Oh,
taken by a phone.
yes.
That invited me to look again photography.
Interesting. Yeah.
And a lot of what I film, a lot of was I was present with him because when you film something and you're not just capturing, but you're choosing also to have like choice
Mhm,
of what to show, how to show it, what interaction you want to have with it, and how you want to present it.
mhm.
Oftentimes you require an understanding, and oftentimes you require knowledge about it,
Yes.
especially if it's a process, especially if it's also like what the person think about it and so. So I've been asking a lot of questions and be following this man and his amazing journey for so long. And I find out after that basically I've been also learning photography for 4 years
Wow.
in an indirect way, but it was in
Yeah.
front of me the whole time.
Right.
And now I actually can use this in my own practice.
That's exciting. That really is. That's so fun.
You want to know what's the left turn into this?
Yes.
I started to use access tools in it.
That makes total sense to me.
And so the presence, you talk about it, that was actually for me the sometimes what was missing, because photography sometimes has been considered a lot of the image that people
Yes.
project rather than an exploration, an encounter, a moment for the
Yes.
presence to show up. And so
For
I
the-
created this brand, this photography brand called Photo Presence.
Oh, I love it. That's very cool. That's very photo presence. Yes, that's it.
When you take photograph or someone take photograph of you,
Mhm.
it's a presence that is required to
Yes.
really be in each other's space and to
Yes.
really bring more of you in the world.
To bring more of you into it. Yes, absolutely.
Every photograph of us is actually a piece of us that go in the world
Yes.
and is our presence as well. I remember seeing your photograph. I think Andrea Belusa took it with your beautiful hat.
With the hat. Yes.
For me, like there was something of like so much like Mary Poppins into it.
I can see that. Yeah.
I loved it. I so want to know you. Like I was like, who's this lady? What she's done? And then I saw what you done, and I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
But I love that like, in those photographs,
Yeah.
they don't really go along your career, your books, and so. And that's to me is so amazing
Mm.
because you're not in those photographs, you're not trying to defend anything. You're just there.
I'm
Hello,
just,
I'm here.
hi.
That is so cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a big invitation. It's actually the invitation of to the space, to the difference, to everything that we can be.
Yes. Well, is there a place people can see your photographs?
Yes, at the moment the website is changing, although on Instagram there is this account called Photo Presence. I
Okay.
think there is a underscore photo underscore presence. Um, if not, also in my Instagram account, which is Marco in Motion. Now you know why.
Wonderful. Well, that's exciting. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about all of this. And when we'll send out the information, we'll put all of these links to all of the incredible things that you have. But it is a joy to have spoken with you. So I really appreciate it.
Likewise, Merlin, and thank you so much for the space you invite us and you give us, because it's also a different exploration when we talk about this with someone
Good. I'm
and
happy.
in,
Yeah.
and in the way you receive it. So
Well,
thank you.
thank you. It's been one of my most favorite things I've ever done is to talk with all of these wonderful people. And I'm so glad you were willing to come on.
Absolutely. Anytime. Really.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining this episode of Left Turn. I wonder what embracing left turns could create in your life. What magical possibilities might show up. Remember, when you choose left turns, you are joining a group of the most creative and brilliant people the world has ever known.